The new moon in solar Leo on Sunday, August 4th, sextiles the action-oriented, courageous Mars and optimistic, growth-focused Jupiter, helping us connect with our hearts, express our light, lead, and ask for recognition. Let's take a closer look at this new moon and break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. If you enjoy my work, please show your support by leaving a like or a comment, subscribing, and pressing that notification bell. Watch another one of my videos. Anything you do helps bring more audience my way, more eyes to my channel, helps me grow. Thank you for that. You can also show your appreciation by buying me a coffee or a tea or croissant. Thank you to everyone who takes advantage of that option too. Before we dive in, if you're looking to work with me more closely, you have questions you'd like to ask, you're welcome to book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. I do natal chart readings talking about your strengths, weaknesses, relationship potential, karmic purpose, etc. Relationship readings where we talk about compatibility between you and your partner, your spouse, your child. There's multiple varieties of relationship readings. And predictive readings. Solar return is best done right around your birthday. It looks at your year to come or year ahead, which is similar but can be done at any point in the year. On my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, you can also find a variety of candles and oils I create. There's also more products coming as I get ready to release the planner for 2025. But candles and oils are my way of working with astrology, my way of making it more helpful to us, right? Like, it's good to know when the positive transit is coming, but it's even better to capture that positive transit. In this video, I'd like to highlight my solar candle, Sunlight in a Jar. This one captures the powerful sun in Leo, sun in rulership, helping you reach the spotlight, get success, get the support of people in power, and express yourself. It's decorated with the golden foil. I've been burning it a little bit, but you can see it. It's over there. And I like to light this one up right before I'm about to do a YouTube video, sometimes during YouTube videos, if I'm presenting, speaking, anything like that. It's perfect for it. Highly, highly recommended for anyone born with their sun in Libra or Aquarius, which are the signs of the fall and detriment for the sun. If your sun is in the 12th, 8th, or 6th house, if it's conjunct Saturn, if it's opposite square Saturn, Pluto, Neptune, or even square or opposite Mars, you might enjoy this candle to help harness your action-oriented vibes in a more constructive way. So thank you for listening to that. Let's talk about this new moon. The new moon is happening at 7:12 a.m. Eastern on Sunday, August 4th, and it occurs at 12 degrees 33 minutes Leo. So it will be especially noticeable for you if you are a Leo rising, Aquarius, Scorpio, or Taurus rising, or if you have planets between 9 and 15 degrees of those signs. You might notice that this full moon is affecting you a lot more. You will notice it regardless of whether you have those placements or not, because the new moon is going to happen and highlight a specific sector of your chart. More on that when we dive into the horoscopes for the signs. But here we're dealing with new beginnings involving your heart, right? Like, Leo is the sign that is ruled by the sun. It is the sign most connected with self-expression and sort of hero properties we all have within us. We all on some level or the other want to shine, right? Like, there's plenty of people who don't like the spotlight, don't want to be the center of attention, but they still more often than not would want to be recognized for the work that they're doing. They would want to be somehow rewarded or acknowledged. Maybe it's by a smaller circle, maybe it's by a larger circle, maybe it's by their family or their children, their spouse. Like, we all have that part of us that wants love, wants kind of, spotlight and and compliments and recognition. So I think this new moon is all about that, right? Like Leo is the solar sign, it's the sign connected with the heart, it's connected with your heart's desires. So the first step of honoring this new moon would be take care of yourself, would be get in touch with yourself and ask yourself, what is it that your heart truly craves, right? For many, this could be about visibility of sorts, right? If you're a Taurus rising, it's happening in your house of home and family. So maybe you're seeking visibility in your family. Maybe you're jumping on the board of your co-op and trying to get involved, or you're helping out people struggling with their living situation. You're maybe like starting some kind of nonprofit. So it's, it is about shining, it is about leading, it is about getting respect and recognition. Very hero energy, right? Very much, are you a hero, and what do you want to be known for? Yes, it's, we've had a lot of like Aries energy in the skies with Jupiter and Gemini, with Pluto and Aquarius. It's all about community and the world around us, and the world is very tumultuous, and there's lots of things going on that are unstable and uncertain and distracting and frustrating. But I think the moon in Leo is also, like, the new moon in Leo is the time to feel okay about wanting attention. It's the time to focus on yourself. It's the time to remember that without first tending to your heart and taking care of yourself, you will likely not help the world at large, right? So I think of this, especially with like a sextile to Jupiter, as like, how can your skills and your talents be best used to help the world at large, right? Like, but it's still about allowing you to shine, allowing you to express yourself, but with that kind of caveat and with that thinking that it's not just for you, right? Like Jupiter, the sextile to Jupiter will bring an element of like helping others, educating others, sharing your wisdom somehow, right? Like once again, how can your light be the spark that lights the big light bigger? Just like light big. But how can your spark add to the global light, right? So you could have an element of that, like growth, wisdom, action, philosophy, helping other people type energy. Jupiter brings the good luck. Mars brings the action, initiative, and courage, together helping you get success, take action, get recognition. It's a great time to light a candle. My moon in Cancer too is perfect for any type of ritual, any type of like new moon manifestation when you're setting your intentions, because the moon always rules manifestation. The moon rules embodiment in astrology, and so this candle can be perfect for helping bring embodiment to your dream. So lighting a candle, any candle, right, could be good, I think. Just a second. But yeah, lighting a candle, journaling, setting down your intentions, looking at the fire, maybe saying sort of, what are they called? Affirmations, reciting your affirmations while looking at the fire, spending day in the sun, hanging out with Leos can all be rituals around this new moon. So let's take a look at the 12 rising signs. If you're looking for more, you're looking for that personal touch and would like a consultation with me, you can book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. Starting with Aries rising. If you are an Aries rising, there's a new moon in your 5th house, and it sextiles Mars and Jupiter in the 3rd. So here it feels like, how can you own your knowledge and your skills to have more joy and pleasure in your life, right? Like, the new moon in the 5th house is about fun. It's about little things, appreciating little things. It's about allowing yourself to be childlike, to be playful, to like let go of some of the worries. So with the sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the third, I wonder if there is a way to, like third house represents speech and communication. So there might be, and like everyday life. And I wonder maybe there is some kind of like rituals you can bring into your life, or positive affirmations you can bring into your life, or even maybe taking your hobbies to the next level, making them part of your everyday life and routine, right? Like making sure you're doing something that is joyful no matter how complicated things are. It's like third house representative of like skills and hobbies and interests, and also your communication and siblings and everyday life. And fifth house is the place of pleasure. And so there's a new moon and opportunities to sort of express yourself, start creative projects, have more fun in life, but you're doing so with your siblings via communicating, via learning, or maybe teaching others, maybe getting more involved with your community, maybe starting a project with a sibling, right? Romantic possibilities are quite likely. Pregnancy may also be represented by the fifth house, because fifth house is the place of children. So either new beginnings in the lives of your children, let's say you've been maybe involved in a custody battle and now you wrap it up and they spend more time with you and the schedule is changing because you get them full time, right? Or you get pregnant, or you have a baby within the next 6 months, because the new moon is exact on August 4th, but you have the full 6 months until the full moon in Leo, giving you time to kind of get acclimated with this energy and get used to it. So birthing a baby or birthing a creative project is also quite likely, starting a romantic relationship. But think of this really through the lens of fun. And fun is very different for different people. For some, I've met someone like that with the eclipse in the fifth house. For her, it was about getting a boob job. For someone else, it's about becoming a parent. For someone else, it's about creative pleasures. For someone else, it's about going hiking, right? Or joining a hiking club. So it's what is pleasure for you? What is joyful for you? What makes you excited, sort of childlike? And how can you have more of that in your life? And if you're looking for more guidance, you have questions about your year coming up, your relationship, and more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. If you are a Taurus rising, there's a new moon in your fourth house, the sector of home, family, and living situation. And it sextiles Mars and Jupiter in the second house. So there's a flow between home, family, living situation and your house of money, values, resources, right? So immediately, could you be investing into a home, right? Maybe redecorating, maybe renovating, maybe buying. For some reason, I thought of the word merging. Maybe you're merging, maybe you're moving in close to your family somehow. Moving is a possibility here, right? Mercury is about to go retrograde between your fifth and fourth houses. So going back to a place you used to live once. Changes in the realm of family. With the connection to the second house, I wonder if there is maybe a family business you're joining, or you're getting some kind of support and finances from the family, or maybe you're helping family financially, right? The new moon in the fourth is very much an opportunity to be the leader, to be in charge, to be the star in the family. So taking on the role of provider, protector, the big boss, the godfather in the family is also likely. And finally, the fourth house is always the place of comfort, security, peace. And so it doesn't have to be about literal family or your living situation, but there might also be maybe opportunities to bring something into your life, bring something into your home that makes you feel at ease, that makes you feel sort of comfortable and cozy and happy and secure. Let me know how this resonates. If you're looking for more, do not hesitate to book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. I can talk about your natal chart, your relationship, or your year to come. For the lovely Gemini rising, there's a new moon in the third house sextiling Mars and Jupiter in your first. So So the new moon in the third is all about your everyday life. And Leo wants to shine, right? Like Leo wants to be playful and fun and wants to be recognized and wants to speak about grand topics and inspire other people. So the new moon here might offer you opportunities to take on a new course. Maybe you're learning how to speak bigger and bolder. It could offer you an opportunity to teach. Maybe you're getting more involved with the community. You're stepping into the spotlight somehow. Even honestly, like starting a blog, a YouTube channel, a writing project, like anything where you get to share. And let's be honest, as a Gemini rising, you are a master of communication. With the third house in your chart being Leo, you can communicate, and it's sort of like bold and noticeable and like proud and loud way if you want to. A lot will depend on the rest of your chart and what's going on there. But perhaps you're getting a chance to share something through starting a writing project, through sharing your story, right? The sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the first, it's about you. Jupiter being in your first house for a year, you are reinventing yourself. You're seeking opportunities to teach, to guide, to lead, to mentor, to help, right? Jupiter is very generous. Jupiter wants to empower other people. So with the new moon in the third, how can you improve your skills, improve your speech, take ownership of what you know, start a blog, share your sort of wisdom with other people? The new moon in the third might also be symbolic of a journey, of likely a shorter journey. So maybe taking an exam, journeying for knowledge, maybe taking a short class, maybe literally going on a short trip. Maybe you're starting something new with your siblings, or something is changing in the life of the sibling potentially. It just feels like finding your voice and changing your everyday life, everyday routine, so that there is more fun, pleasure, and opportunities to shine, if I had to sum it up. If you're looking for more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. We can talk about anything and everything you're interested in via a consultation. If you are the lovely Cancer rising, there's a new moon in your second house and a sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 12th. So the new moon in the second brings attention to values and feeling valued. So it's also classically the house of money, but we'll get to that. That's like a very low-hanging fruit. Money is easy, right? To talk about, at least astrologically. But let's talk about values. Second house, Leo, represents values and what makes you feel valued. So I think around the time of this new moon, especially with the sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 12th, you are maybe asking whether you feel sort of happy and valued and appreciated in your relationship, in your career, in your family dynamic. And you're maybe seeking to change something, right? You're maybe realizing what is it that truly important to you, what is it that motivates you and excites you. And so with the sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 12th, some answers might come from spirituality. Maybe you realize that you're actually the happiest when you're studying astrology and you make an investment and start taking an astrology course, or you book a reading with Anastasia. Maybe you realize that it's healing work. 12th house is also healing, spiritual healing. It's working with people who are in mental asylums, hospitals, sort of prisons. So doing work that involves that is likely. Escaping some situation. Like, it is a new moon, so it is new beginnings, but because it aspects Mars and Jupiter in the 12th, I wonder if new beginnings lead you to escape, right? Like, new beginnings require you to get out of something, quit a job, move, change priorities somewhat, like wrap things up somehow. But speaking of money, right, let's go for that low-hanging fruit. There is definitely new opportunities financially, and maybe those opportunities involve you doing spiritual work, healing work, moving, working in faraway locations as well. So new beginnings and finances are definitely possible here. You're maybe paying off a debt, you're maybe making a big investment, making a big purchase, starting a savings account. It is very much a good time to develop a strategy for your financial future. Highly recommend my Moon in Cancer 2 candle because it falls in your first house, helping you manifest your desires, helping you visualize things, and also bringing a sense of peace and calm into your life. You can find this on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. On there, you can also book a reading and get a personal one-on-one consultation with me. I hope this resonates. If you are a Leo rising, there's a new moon in your first house. So it's about you. It's about your identity, your health, your body, your brand, right? And it sextiles Mars and Jupiter in your 11th house. So it brings in the elements of social media, community, hopes and dreams, public life, public status, altruistic work, some kind of like nonprofit work, charity, altruistic pursuits. So it's a once in a year birthday for you. Even if you are a Leo rising and like Aquarius sun, Leo new moon is your astrological birthday because it's a chance to reinvent what you look like, how you present yourself. Maybe you're starting a new social media account. Maybe you're changing your hair. Maybe you're moving, right? Maybe you are rebranding. You are very much rebranding somehow, right? But Leo is, you are born with the rising sign that makes you a very kind of like natural performer, really charming, really sort of easily good at grabbing attention, good at being noticeable. So the new moon in the first house is also asking you, what do you want to be known for? If you have those gifts of grabbing attention, what is worth investing your energy into, right? Like, do you have a social media account where you talk about fashion, but what you're craving is talking about mental health? So maybe you use your influence, your charm to sort of talk about something that's more important. But maybe you're craving visibility and sort of success on social media. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So the new moon in the first can very much be about, especially with that aspect to the 11th house, could be about like finding allies, finding your style, finding your brand, expressing yourself on social media, starting a new page, starting a new podcast, something like that is quite likely here. Highly recommend for you guys my Sunlight in a Jar 2 candle because this one captures the sun in Leo, especially if you are a Leo rising like Libra sun or Aquarius sun. This could be a beautiful help for self-expression, confidence, courage, visibility, and even like boosting that even more. And if you're looking for a reading, I don't think I said that yet, if you're looking for a personal consultation with me, and if you're looking to get this candle, you can find all of that on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. Moving on to the Virgo rising. If you are a Virgo rising, there's a new moon in your 12th house and a sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 10th. So this is both private and public because there is that aspect to Mars and Jupiter in the 10th. But it almost feels like it's more private. So 12th house is the realm of mental health, spirituality, endings, sort of karma that needs to be untangled. So with the new moon in the 12th house, you are realizing that before you reach professional success and before you are reborn, right? Virgo season's coming up. We're going to have a new moon in Virgo. Next year, we're going to have eclipses in Virgo. So you're about to enter this major stage of rebirth. Are you feeling it, Virgo risings? Are you feeling that you're closing some cycles and getting ready for something new? Maybe you're already starting new things, but I'd be curious to know. So before you get to that place of rebirth, new beginnings, reinvention, you are called to attend to your mental health. You're called to maybe rethink your routines around sleep, around self-talk. How do you talk to yourself? Any other kind of self-care, right? When it comes to watching TV too late, scrolling on social media, therapy. Maybe the new moon in Leo might encourage you to connect with a better therapist, right? healing the past, letting go of the past, even closing professional chapters are like could be a possibility here. But like 12th house is also the place of like self-defeating, self-undoing tendencies, and with the sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 10th, there might be an opportunity to release some of those bad habits that are not serving you on your professional journey. Like maybe you always want for your boss to compliment you, while you know your boss may be stingy with compliments, but then your clients or your people you work with, they constantly sort of tell you how appreciative they are of your work. So maybe you need to like readjust your mindset, rethink some things before that new sort of chapter in your life as you get reborn with the new moon in Virgo coming up. Let me know how this resonates, and if you're looking for more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. If you are the lovely Libra rising, there's a new moon in your 11th house and a sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 9th. 11th house represents your dreams. It represents your community, your friendships, your networks, your media, social media following and accounts and presence, right? Sort of you and your allies on some level. So the new moon in the 11th house could bring new allies. Could be the time that you're maybe surrounding yourself with new people and building like a new kind of project, maybe a group project, like calling up your friends and saying, let's go to a yoga class together, and like sort of starting a new habit with you and your friends. New dreams that involve 9th house topics, that involve travel, that involve education, teaching, or studying, that involve travel, going on a trip, maybe traveling with your friends or traveling for education, are quite likely here. Writing, publishing are very much possible at this time. The new moon in the 11th is the time when you're asking kind of big questions of like, what do I want to be known for? What do I want to be seen as? What do I want my public image to be like? So the new moon in Leo might also encourage new ideas. Like if you are a content creator, you start new series, right? Something that makes you more visible, puts you in front of other people. You start a YouTube channel, you start a podcast. A friend brings an opportunity to you. But very much, I think that energy of like 9th house growth, expansion, taking on new things, potentially working on something that educates, helps, guides people. Please share how this resonates. As always, if you're looking for more, you want a one-on-one personal touch and consultation, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. And there was a bird that flew right seemingly out of my ear. It's fun to film by this window. Sometimes I get to see birds. I mean, I would always see them because I was filming like across from the windows. Sometimes I would comment on them, but now you guys get to see birds and I see them by looking there. Anyways, moving on to the mysterious and charming Scorpio rising. There's a new moon in your 10th house of career, status, and reputation, and a sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 8th house of shared finances, resources, and debts and taxes, loans. So immediately, the new moon in the 10th in a sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 8th, could you be getting some kind of support that forwards your career? Maybe a friend or an old colleague gives you a contact information of someone. Maybe you pay off a debt with Mars and Jupiter in the 8th that allows you to have more freedom to start a business, right? Like the new moon in the 10th will encourage professional new beginnings. And when the sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 8th, there is maybe there's an opportunity to start a partnership. Maybe you're joining forces with someone, or you're hiring an employee and you're feeling even like outsources some of your work to other people, which is something that I have to do eventually, but it's not about me, it's about you, Scorpio risings. But yeah, maybe you're outsourcing some of your work. Maybe you're building connections, relationships with other people that lets you have more freedom to pursue things that are enjoyable and joyful for you. The new moon in the 10th is very much about asking for recognition, so asking for more responsibility at work, asking for a different title, asking for a raise, I can all see here. Even, you know, maybe letting go of something if you feel not recognized, if you feel like the job is not fulfilling for you and you want more kind of happiness professionally. Quitting a job, looking for a new job are all possible at this time. Please let me know how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. I don't think it's raining, but it was raining earlier. If you are a Sagittarius rising, there's a new moon in your 9th house and a sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 7th. The new moon in the 9th draws attention to your house of high mind, your philosophical beliefs, your ideals. With the sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 7th, I wonder if you are getting a chance to examine your beliefs about relationships, your sort of inherited or acquired ideas about how things are supposed to be in a relationship. Maybe you're learning, maybe you're picking up a book on relationship therapy or relationship dynamics, and you're sort of opening yourself up to new perspectives. Opportunities to move, travel with your significant other, I can see here. New moon in the 9th might encourage you to study. Once again, maybe you're studying about relationships. Maybe you're learning about relationships. Maybe you are teaching about relationships. Maybe you're starting therapy. Like the Mars Jupiter in the 7th, it's about relationships, but it's also about like business partnerships. It's about contracts. So with the new moon in the 9th, if you are a lawyer or if you're dealing with an immigration situation, like applying for a visa, or you're dealing with some kind of, you know, contractual negotiation, the new moon in the 9th can also offer opportunities to like move forward with that, talk about that, sign a contract. But like moving for a relationship, traveling with a significant other, very much possible. Making a relationship legally official, so like getting engaged or getting married, I can see here as well. So it's like, it's very relationship tied, new moon, but it doesn't have to be, because new moon in the 9th will also offer opportunities to explore, to go on adventures, to travel, to try new things, to learn new things, even to teach potentially. If you're looking for more and looking for a personal consultation, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. If you are the lovely Capricorn rising, there's a new moon in your 8th house and a sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 6th. So this feels like very kind of private new moon, potentially. You know, new moon in the 8th could very much be the time when you're paying off a debt. You are maybe clearing some kind of karmic debt or karmic dependency. If you've been engaged in a dynamic with another person that felt toxic and dragged you down emotionally, physically, you're maybe releasing that. Starting new agreements, starting new partnerships that involve your health or your work are likely because of that sextile to the 6th house. The 6th house, Jupiter and Mars also represent like a labor of love, some type of labor of love that you are working on, sweating over, and the new moon in the 8th might offer a chance to bring in the help to get a loan for that project, right? Maybe you're studying, you just started a course of study to become a nutritionist, and new moon in the 8th is like, okay, let's figure out the financial element of that. Let's apply for a loan. Let's get sort of resources necessary to get us through the school process, right? Through the application process. So getting a loan, paying off a debt, getting a therapist, because 8th house represents sort of death and rebirth. And so maybe you're attending to your health, your mental health, taking care of it, are all possible. But also, like with the new moon in the 8th, it's very much about, you know, it's Leo, right? So we want to make sure we're not getting the short end of the stick. So you might come at the question of like joint resources, contracts, partnerships from a place of like, am I getting recognition? Am I getting appreciation that I want? And perhaps you'd have to renegotiate something, right? It's like, are things fair? Are you treated the way you want to be treated? And if not, what needs to change? And maybe it will require you to have a tough conversation, but it's not like you can't handle it. You very much can. If you're looking for more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com, for your natal chart reading, relationship reading, or a year to come. If you are the beautiful, quirky Aquarius rising, there's a new moon in your 7th house and a sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 5th. New beginnings in your relationships. Low-hanging fruit, romantic new beginnings, right? There's a sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 5th. Pregnancy. Creative partnership, right? Like pregnancy with an idea, a business idea that you start with your significant other. Marriage, engagement, moving in together, any sort of important developments, commitments in your romantic life, or commitments in your professional life. 7th house also represents business relationships. It represents contractual agreements. So there might be a partnership you're starting, maybe something that involves even like children and creativity and pleasure, some kind of partnership that will let you enjoy your life a little bit more. Maybe it's like starting a business versus working for a boss or something like that. So quite exciting, very sort of, like new beginnings in love, putting yourself out there, starting to date, opening yourself up to like a different kind of dating. You are an Aquarius rising after all, right? Like exploring maybe a unique type of dating. Maybe you've never done online dating and you kind of download the app, or you decide to open up your marriage, or you decide to date all the genders that are out there. So just as long as it's not hurting other people, and as long as you're not hurting, like if you already have a significant other, don't do anything I wouldn't do or I wouldn't encourage you to do. Let me know how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. Now for the lovely ethereal Pisces rising, there's a new moon in your 6th house and a sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 4th. So the new moon in the 6th encourages you to take care of your health, to maybe come up with new routines that can be done around your home, right? The sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 4th. Maybe you get a Peloton bike or a stationary bike, or you get a different one where you can run on it. What is that called? I can't remember. But you get some kind of, you build like a gym in your house, or you get weights to work out. It helps to do it. But some type of like developments where you are investing in your health, taking care of your health. There might be new beginnings at work with the new moon in the 6th house. 6th house is usually sort of the daily grind. With the sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 4th, maybe your schedule is changing. Maybe you're getting to work from home a little bit more. Projects around the house, like fixing a home. Projects around helping family, maybe like solving some kind of problems for family, or like even getting like getting a car. You need to see a family, sort of, that involves a little bit of like jumping through hoops to get there, are all likely here. The new moon in the 6th can also suggest getting a pet. It can also suggest committing to healing and health that maybe involves mental health, that maybe involves overcoming childhood trauma, with that sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the 4th. But I like that it's a harmonious aspect. I feel like the house of health and hard work and labors and sacrifices and pets is very much supported by your like family, your your living situation. So it's kind of a really nice flow between the two of them. Please let me know how this resonates. If you're looking for more, book a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. I'd be happy to look at your natal chart, your relationship compatibility, or your year to come. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching and supporting me. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. And I will see you in the next video. Have a great new moon in Leo.